So I know how hard it is to focus on the spiritual stuff when your body's in pain. When my body's full of pain, the last thing I want to hear is that my body's not real, my pain's not real, that only love exists, only God is, there's only healing energy. Just focus on that. You can't tell me that my pain isn't real. You can't tell me that my body's not real. My body's full of pain and it's excruciating. And even though that's happening, my body's not real. This world isn't real. The pain isn't real. It's a chemical process going on in my brain. There's electrical signals firing, and it's not even happening in my body. It's happening in my brain. And so, even though that's true, I'm still feeling pain. And there is a unconditionally loving force expressing itself as the pain, expressing itself as my body, expressing itself as everything in the universe. It's the foundation. It's the only thing that's real as far as eternal goes. You know, this body's going to die. This pain is going to pass. This life is going to be over. This moment's going to be over. Tomorrow the sun will rise, you know. Everything is always moving forward. Everything's always growing. Everything is temporary, you know. This whole world, all these moments, everything going on in my life is temporary. And it will all be different at some time, you know, in some moment. At some time. It could be the future. It could be the next moment. I don't really know. The pain is real in the moment. Okay. And what else is real? The presence of God is real. The fact that there's an unconditionally loving force expressing itself as you, as your body, as everything, that's real. That unconditionally loving force is perfection. Pain doesn't exist there. There's no such thing as discomfort. You know, there's only absolute completeness and fulfillment, you know, like that feeling of arrival, that feeling of like that is the presence, you know, that's what's animating my body. That's what is giving me the ability to perceive the experience of pain. And that's the whole deal. That's why I'm here, right? Because the stuff that animates life wants to experience what it's like to have pain and what it's like to have joy and what it's like to do everything that we do in life that makes life so sweet and wonderful. And I have found relief in my life by focusing on that kind of stuff while I'm feeling the pain, even though I can't move and my body is filled with pain. The presence of God is, you know, it's not real. It is the only thing that is. I am, right? The statement ends with I am. The statement ends with God is. There is no ... you know, there's nothing comes after that. It's just God is, period. And I'm feeling pain. Okay. And God is. God is the presence right now. And so your pain is significant in as much as you allow it to be. But it's incapacitating my body. It's all I'm experiencing. I understand that. I have felt that too. And God is. And the more I found for me, the more that I focus on the God is aspect that's happening right now during the pain, the less of an emotional charge there is around the pain. And I don't know if I can say the easier it is for the pain to be released, but the more opportunity there is for the pain to be released. The less I'm focused on the fact that I'm incapacitated by my pain and the fact that my pain is the only thing that's real, you know, physical, solid, real to me. The more that I focus on the spiritual stuff, the less that is the only reality, you know, that becomes like secondary reality. It might be more of my experience than I'm consciously experiencing in the moment, but from a larger perspective and a larger truth, it's secondary reality. The first reality is the presence of God. Like that is what gives rise to all this stuff. All this stuff is temporary and dissolves away at some period in some time. And what is eternal is the presence of God. And that's what I am. That's what I'm speaking from, thinking from, feeling from. The presence of God. It's really the only thing that's really real. And the pain is an experience I'm having that will pass, that totally sucks, that I don't like, that I'm angry is here. I hate the pain and I don't want it to even be an aspect of my experience. And maybe I'll get there. And right now I'm experiencing it. And it's not real. And it's okay that it's here. It's teaching me something. For me, my pain is teaching me to look at the presence of God. It's teaching me to not be so focused on the body that I think I am. I'm not my body. My body dies. I'm the energy. When my body dies, my energy leaves my body and I look at my body and I go, oh, I'm still here. I'm this presence. This is what I really am. I was just using that as a vessel to experience that life I just lived. That's happening right now in this moment. We can have that experience, if only in the awareness of it, the imaginary idea of that reality. It will only be imaginary for a period of time. The more that we're focused on the fullness that we are, the unlimited aspect of ourselves that we are, the closer we get to experiencing ourselves and our body and our daily lives from that perspective. And the easier life gets, man. There's less of an emotional charge around my pain when I'm coming from the God aspect of myself. I'm the presence of God in this moment that I'm feeling this pain. And this pain is an experience I'm having, and that's okay. What I really am is the presence of God. The pain will pass. The presence of God is. It's what I am. And that's all that matters to me in the grand scheme, And it just redirects your focus, It makes the physical reality secondary to the spiritual reality. And I feel like that's the whole journey that we're on, is making spiritual reality primary reality. If we come from the perspective of the spirit is the only thing that exists and the physical reality is a manifestation of it, spirit is first cause. Physical reality is secondary. It only is because of my thoughts, my feelings, my beliefs, how I'm reacting to my situations, This energy is coming out of my heart and my being and radiating through the universe, and I'm having experiences as a result of what I'm thinking and feeling, and what I have thought and felt all my life, and what I believe to be true, and what everyone around me has told me is true. And now that I know that that's the way it works, I'm starting to think on purpose. So I'm still experiencing pain because of everything I've been told to believe to be true all my life. All that stuff happened, and it's brought me to where I am right now. And I'm experiencing pain in this moment, and that fucking sucks, and I'm ready for it to be over. And maybe I will never experience pain again. Maybe this is the last pain I'll ever experience. Maybe that's not likely. Whatever I believe to be true, it is what it is because I believe it is, not because it is. What is? God. The presence of God is the only thing that is, right? So because that's true, I'm going to give my attention to that as much as possible. And physical reality can be secondary to the presence of God and to the fact that there's only one blanket, there's only one unified field, there's only one unconditionally loving light that radiates through everything, animates everything. It's the only thing that exists. And hopefully by giving my attention to that more often, I can release or loosen up the emotional charge I have around physical reality and what I think is actually happening. Because apparently it's all happening in my mind. Apparently, reality is a projection of what I think it is, Like the quantum physicists say, the reality is not happening when you're not looking. When you're not looking, it's a wave, and when you are looking, it's a particle. So when I'm not looking at all my problems, they're just like unconditionally loving light of God, being the unified field, being completeness. When I'm not looking at whatever it is the unified field. And when I look at it, it becomes the particle based on what I think and feel and believe to be true about whatever it is I'm looking at. And so what I'm looking at has the potential to change if I can change what I think and feel about it. And we live in a timeline, in a reality where things take time and it takes a minute to get from A to B. So it might take a minute for me to get from experiencing my pain and looking at it and thinking about it differently to not experiencing pain. It might take a minute to get there. I accept that. So what am I going to do in the meantime? Be all emotionally worked up about my pain and call it real and be angry that it's there? Yeah, I'm going to feel that for a minute. And I'm going to realize that it is also the presence of God, and the presence of God is the only thing that's real. And if I give my attention to the presence of God, that's what is going to be expressed eventually, at some point. And what else am I going to do with my time? I'm here. I'm in this body. I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing. I'm moving from A to B. Reality is what it is until it isn't, until it's something different. And it will be something different when I think it's something different. So I'm going to work on what I think it is in the meantime. Every moment, all day, every day, I'm going to do my best to think differently about what's happening. I'm going to do my best to feel differently about what's happening. And someday, somewhere, over the rainbow of life, it will be different. I hope it can better be. Because what has been is unacceptable. And what I want to be is all I want to experience. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's working. The more that I give my attention to the presence of God within me, the easier my life gets, the less I experience pain. I had like a weird pop in my back, and a friend of mine's been living with back pain for like the last 8 years, and he had the same exact experience. He told me about the same symptoms that I had, the same unfolding that I had, you know, like I moved in a weird way. It went pop. I immediately felt this like soreness, muscle tighten, like, whoa, I just got my back. I'm kind of screwed. And, you know, I just stretched as much as I could. I did my best to not like get all emotionally worked up about it. I didn't listen to my friend when he said, yeah, that was my experience. I feel pain every single day since then. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's not the experience I want to have. I'll move through this. Like, it will lessen. And I don't really feel the pain in my back. That was like weeks ago, and I'm feeling all right. And, you know, maybe it was different. Sure. And I'm not experiencing pain. And that was my thought process to get to where I am right now. You know, I don't know if the thought process was the cause of my not feeling pain today, or if it was just a light injury or what. All I do know is I had that experience, I thought those things, and now I'm having this experience and I like it. And right now my ear is filled with water from cliff jumping like 2.5 weeks ago, and I've had this muffle ever since. And I'm not all that emotionally worked up about it. It totally sucks. It's an absolute inconvenience. Everything I say is muffled by this one thing, and it's really annoying and inconvenient, and it will be gone someday, and I'm not that worried about it, and I think it's getting better. And maybe it isn't, but if I keep thinking it's getting better, maybe it will be. If I keep thinking it's there and is the same and is getting worse, it's surely not going to get better. So what are you going to do, man? Your problems aren't going to get better if you keep focusing on the problem. And they might improve if you focus on the solution and the fact that the presence of God is the only thing that's real. Because that's a fact, yo. I mean, it's not real. It's not, the unified field isn't not real. It's not like all this stuff really is all this stuff. All this stuff really is a bunch of particles that have clustered together out of the unified field. The unified field is one blanket, and all this stuff are waves of vibration that have risen up out of it. That's really happening. And all the waves of vibration rising up out of the unified field change because of what we think and feel. We know this is true. I mean, this is a scientific fact. Like, it's the way it is. So do your best to get your mind in line with that truth, and hopefully your life will change for the better. You know, that's the goal. Life changing for the better. Best of luck.